we have so many other things that can distract us. I lost my home. Well, that's a reason for me to stop serving. My car was repossessed. I was fired. I lost my job. You know, there's so much turmoil. I'm going through a divorce. I'm going through this. I'm going through that. And I'm a believer. And that's when they put the, and I'm a believer. We have to ask ourselves, are we applying all of God's truth to our life first and foremost? Before we start blaming God and stop serving and stop short of finishing up the course, have we lived up to the standards that God has placed before us first and foremost? Can we ask the question and say, you know what? I've lived every day of my life like God has instructed me to by the Bible. Can we say that before we start blaming God? If God has provided the church as a hospital for believers and those people that are non-believers to come in and be healed, come in and receive something, then why is it that we find ourselves out in the streets trying to get medication and trying to get help? Come on, somebody. I'm talking, if he has provided a location, in other words, how many of y'all, if you found yourself almost amputated on your leg, how many of y'all would go to the library and say, I need a little help with this when the hospital is right here? Right. You're going to come to the hospital. You're going to say, it'd be foolish for me to go to the library because these are not the professionals that's going to be able to fix me. Right. But we do that when it comes to the church. We do it when it comes to the church, and we find ourselves on the sideline. Well, why you stop serving? Well, you know, the church wasn't doing much for me. Well, what were you doing for the church? Ask that question. You know, what were you putting in the church? Were you putting in your time in the church? Were you even applying? You know, we got people, I call them nodders. They're sitting there, nod on me, and they're just looking at me. Are you applying what I teach you every Sunday? We stop serving, but we blame everything and everybody else but ourselves. We have to look at ourselves, but we stop serving. God simply told us, many people stop coming to the church. They blame the church. You all know people like that. They blame the church for things that are going on in their lives. When things are going well, they don't give the church the credit like it should, receive. They don't give God the credit like he should receive. Many times they use the I. Look what I've been able to accomplish. Look what I was able to do. Look what I was able to achieve. Look what I. Little do they know that when we come up for corporate prayer, Pastor Wesley's praying over lives, that everything goes well financially, everything goes well physically and spiritually and emotionally, and that their families are going well. But they forget about that because they're tuned out saying, I hope he finished praying so I can go back to my seat. It sure was comfortable. The air feels good. My goodness. And they forget about all that prayer that Pastor Wesley prayed over, and they leave out of here and all they know is that sounded like last week's altar prayer, and that sounded like the week before that altar prayer. And so they start tuning out. Little do they know God is just sitting up and he's like, okay, I hear the pastor's prayer, and I'm going to bless these people on his behalf because he's my instrument made for my use, and I'm going to bless them. And all of a sudden these great things started happening. I've known so many people come through here, they come through here with so many problems, they left here just blessed. Pastor, I got a job. This has happened, that has happened. Now all of a sudden all my seats empty. I just look, I say, so we bless them. They're gone. Bless, they're gone. Bless, they're gone. Bless, they're gone. Bless, they're gone. Just stop serving left and right. So make you want to say, my goodness, we're like a revolving door. Just walk through Shepherd Bay. If you want something miraculous to happen, walk through Shepherd Bay. You got to walk through that messed up and leave up out there blessed up and won't come back until you need another blessing because the job you will lose eventually. All those things that you've accumulated that you said, look what I have done, you'll come back. You'll be back. Coming back for another blessing. God wants us to be able to get rid of the guilty conscience. Some folks, and hear me on this, feel so guilty because the weather's gone on through the week, they can't come on Sunday morning. I've run across people, I say, well, where you been? Everything going well? Well, Pastor, I want to come to church, but my life is so messed up right now. Wait a minute, we got a problem here already. Let's stop right there. You want to come to church, but your life is messed up. So you're outside of the church and you think your messed up life is going to get better. With me being a pastor, maybe I see things wrong, but the way I see it, God gave us Genesis to Revelations in order to fix us. He gave us basic instructions before leaving earth. And the way I see it, he's given us these instructions, and the word said he calls some to be teachers, some to be pastors, right? The way I see it, he calls some to be pastors to establish a church for a reason. So if your life is messed up on the outside, you decide not to come to church, and it's still messed up, how do you think it's going to be fixed? How do you think it's going to be fixed? When I'm strong, somebody else may be weak. When I'm weak, someone else may be strong. I get phone calls all the time from people that are falling weak at times with their Christian walk. I make calls at times, but I, as pastor, am falling weak in my Christian walk. The word lets us know in Hebrews 10, verse 23 and 24, and let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. God is faithful. We may not be faithful all the time, but he is faithful. He is faithful to his word. He won't disappoint.